Anyway, let's shift gears
Yes,
into the main
let's.
topic at hand because there is a lot to talk about. I actually did not have the letter prepared, so I'm pulling it up right now.
Please do. I'm going to give everyone, while you're doing that, I'm going to give everyone a little preface to the situation here. If you're completely out of the loop and you're not sure what's going on, we covered this on a recent episode of the podcast talking about the State Department of Insurance for Idaho. So the DOI at Idaho, I believe it came from the director, which we deemed was the commissioner. So, the person in charge of the insurance department. The governor was also it was on the governor's letterhead. So it looked like it was, potentially co-signed by the governor as well. And it was talking about the non-commissionable plans that we've all been dealing with and how the state of Idaho was essentially knock it off. We need you guys and honestly made some proposals on, how things could change moving forward. That it was a breath of fresh air that we talked about in depth. I'm pretty sure we read almost the entire letter back then. Now we have a part 2 for you guys today. If you haven't seen this shared, there's been another letter. Sir, another letter has dropped. And Christian is going to pull this up. Share your screen, sir, once you have that.
Yes, I do have it.
Go through this.
So I want to preface by saying, right, this does not necessarily state any opinion of mine, Glenn's, or Everything Senior Insurance's opinion on any of the carriers involved. We are literally just reporting on the events that transpired.
Just public information that we're sharing. That's right.
I wanted to make that very clear up front. I saw 2 versions of this, and there probably were 2 different letters, but I'm sure they said relatively the same thing. One went out to United Healthcare. The other went out to Pacific Source, which Pacific Source on a much smaller scale does plans in a handful of states like Washington, I believe. I want to say they do some stuff in Oregon. And
yeah, they do.
In Idaho.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yes. How's that?
One more. Perfect.
Okay, so this was publicly found on Google on, it looks like doi.idaho.gov. Okay, so it was filed October 28th, 2025 from the Department of Insurance of Idaho. Okay. And it kind of starts off by saying, first off, it's a cease and desist order and notice. And it essentially starts off by saying, to the authority granted to the director of the Idaho Department of Insurance in the Idaho Insurance Code, Section 41-101. The thing about it is there is a lot of legal jargon and gobbledygook in these types of letters. So I almost hate to read it verbatim too much because I might put a lot of you to sleep. But more or less, it's stating that...
Read that top paragraph. I think that's a pretty... No, right there.
This one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
that's a good
Idaho
one.
Code 41-1301 through 41-1321, known as the Trade Practices Law, was enacted by the legislature of the state of Idaho to define or provide for the determination of all such practices in this state which constitute unfair methods of competition or unfair or deceptive acts or practices, and by prohibiting the trade practices so defined or determined. So that right there, I would be shocked if any of you could translate that for me and know what that means. I have an idea of what they're trying to say here, but
yeah, I mean, I can't speak to the the legal interpretation of this, but what it sounds like they're trying to say is that it is unfair business practices what's going on by these carriers.
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's why they're asking for a cease and desist. My bigger question that I have, and I don't know if you have any idea about this or not, when a cease and desist like this gets filed, what are these insurance carriers supposed to do? Just immediately pull out of the state?
So
Like,
I want to circle back on that because
yeah.
it's a very good question that I have a lot of thought of.
Thank you.
This
Thank
part
you. It is a very good question. Thank you.
I want to come back to it because I want to get through the letter a little bit.
Traveling.
So this is a little bit more clear, right? You know, that
Yes.
this part above is more of like cease and desist, you know, gobbledygook stuff. But right here, I'm not even going to say the carrier's name. I'm going to say carrier is a Utah domiciled insurance licensed to transact insurance in the state of Idaho. That's a little bit of interesting. Or on or above September 2025, it came to the department's attention that carrier was intentionally limiting access to Medicare Advantage products by curtailing access to MA applications online. So that's much more clear what they're upset about.
Yeah.
So it became known to the department that the carrier was limiting access to MA plans on their websites through approximately dozens of licensed Idaho agents. It also came to the department's attention that carrier was intentionally limiting paper applications and consumer access. Okay. Through dozens of agents, the department learned carrier was rescinding agent commissions on MA plans. Carrier discontinued commissions, even though commissions were included in the rates at development, filed for approval, and are being charged to Idahoans, if I'm saying that right. Sorry, you Idaho residents, if I'm not representing your terminology right, eligible for Medicare. So this is interesting. So
Idahoans?
Idahoans? Idaho. So this part's kind of interesting, right? Because this is stating that commissions were built into the rate development of the plans. And then last second, the commissions were pulled, where from the standpoint that they're almost saying like it was built into their rate developments, which means like the amount of funding that they get. Now, this is national funding, not state of Idaho funding. So I don't know what type of jurisdiction they really have on that part of it, but interesting that they mentioned that. The department verified carrier's intentions when it received a copy of its amendment to agent agreement, which we all got September 9th, 2025, wherein carrier notified agents that some MA plans would become non-commissionable for applications signed after October 1st, 2025. Many agents told the department that they were informed directly by carrier representatives that the company did not want to sell any MA plans, despite plan marketing efforts. What did I do? Where did I go?
Where am I?
What did I do? What did I do? Okay. Agents were told carrier discontinued offering commissions to discourage enrollment. In a meeting with the department on or about October 17th, 2025, a carrier representative said carrier was deliberately discouraging enrollment by any means possible. So there's a lot here. There's a lot to kind of unpack here.
Yeah.
Let me go through this next little part right here, and then we'll kind of break this down, which we have plenty of time to do.
Absolutely.
The representative affirmed that the elimination of commissions was not about carrier saving money. Interesting little tidbit there. It was about discouraging enrollment and steering interest away from MA plans, which has been what we've been told by carriers all along. There is a section of agents out there that are conspiratorial, thinking the carriers are trying to save money, which I have some thoughts on. There's a lot to cover here.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we break down what we've covered so far?
Yeah, let's go back.
And then we'll go back.
Yeah.
We'll go back.
Whoa. What the hell? That's Ghostface. Let's start.
All right. So to diagnose this, I want all plausible deniability. So I will be changing, for lack of a better term.
Someone asked what you were dressed as. So yeah, let's make sure you're in full costume for this section.
No evidence that I am the one making these comments. Okay.
All right.
So
now listen, if you say anything, I can hear you. If you say anything questionable, I will call a foul and I will throw my flag. Okay. So be careful. I'm gonna have my whistle ready.
Okay. So upon reading that, there's a couple things to unpack here. The first thing is that I don't know if you can even hear me. I feel like I'm extremely muffled.
It's very muffled. It's very.
So, okay. The first thing there to unpack is the carriers communicating to everyone involved that they are trying to discourage enrollment into the MA plans totally. Now, why would that be? An agent might ask. Why would a carrier want to discourage enrollment into the MA plans but offer the plan at the same time? There's a lot of politics behind this. You know what? Fuck it. There's a lot of additional information that goes into this that might be a little convoluted for the average person, right? For the average agent. So if a carrier is going to determine that they want to offer a plan, they have to make that decision. We've covered this off earlier this year on the pod. They have to make that decision whether they're going to pull a plan or renew a plan fairly early in the year. And once they've made that decision, they kind of have to relatively stick to it. They can't decide in the 10th hour that they're going to be pulling the plans, right?
Because they'll be penalized if they do.
Right. Not to say that it's impossible for them to do, but the ramifications are there. They're there from CMS. And so the carriers feel like, and when I say this, there's going to be people that are going to come out of the woodworks and they're going to be like, drinking the Kool-Aid, are you? The carriers convinced you that? Who told you that? The carrier's mom? You know, like I'm going to get all this, but I'm just telling you the realities of a Medicare Advantage approvals and plan discontinuations and service area reductions, how they work, right? They have to do it if they don't want to get penalized by CMS far in advance. So there are situations where a carrier determines this plan is not a priority for us. This market is not a priority for us. So over the course of the future, our plan is to pull this plan, but they might not know that at the time of the year that they actually have to make that determination to avoid penalties. So they decide to keep the plan, not knowing what's going to be. And then when they determine, oh, this market sucks for us.
Right.
We already committed for next year. We don't want to face these penalties. So the better chess move for us to avoid the penalties, but not have to enroll too much business into this plan is to suppress business any means necessary. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing from this carrier. This carrier in particular, we had to rewrite a couple of our own clients that had a cancellation plan in Idaho. This carrier's plans, none of them were on any form of quoting engine. Most quoting engines like Sunfire will show you non-commissionable options, not this area, not for this carrier. They're gone. They're not even there. So they're suppressed in a real way. It's not just showing you the plan and saying non-commissionable. It's not even there. Right?
So really fast on this topic, because obviously this has been, beaten to death, right? This exact topic. One thing that came up in the Facebook group, I saw a comment from an agent, because basically, and I think you had even you pretty much commented what you just said, right? You were explaining for the millionth time what it appears to be is going on, which again, I think that makes the most logical sense, what you just said. But one agent is under the impression that in some of these markets, some of these carriers, even though they went non-commissionable with certain plans and they're trying to suppress certain plans, that they're still marketing those plans.